Today's Saturday. It's April 23rd and this is day one. I'm off on another bike trip and I'm headed north. Plan on going towards Chicago. I left my house this morning about 10:30. Got a late start. I had some last minute packing to do. I'm gonna go through Springfield, visit Abe Lincoln and the state capitol. Then from Springfield, I'm gonna jump on Route 66 and take that to Chicago. I got some friends and family that live there still. My plan is to take about 7 or 8 days to get to Chicago from Southern Illinois. But for today, I'm just headed to DuQuion, so it'll be about a 45-50 mile day. It'll be kind of a medium day. This is just day one of a long bike trip, so I'm starting off kind of easy. My legs aren't nearly in shape yet. Give me about a week or so, and then I'll be road ready. Wow, it's a windy day. But fortunately, the wind is out of the south, and I'm headed north. So I got a nice tailwind pushing me along. So I'm gonna take advantage of it. I'll see you down the road. I'm using my Trek 520 on this trip, leaving my Miata 1000 at home this time. I've never toured on my Trek 520. It's an excellent bike. Trying it out for the first time, you know, just to kind of shake things up a little bit. But really the main reason I'm taking the Trek 520 is because it can take wider tires. I'm riding on 35s on this trip. Normally I'd be riding on 32s. So it gives me a little wider tire and hopefully a little softer ride. The frame is excellent, the brakes are excellent, but everything else is about the same. I've got it geared about the same as my other bike. And basically I've got the same seat, handlebars, and stem. Wow, it is Sunday, it's April the 24th, and this is day two on my way north. It's another windy day, but again, the wind's out of the south, so it's a good wind. Today I'm headed for Vandalia. It's the old Illinois state capitol. It's gonna be about a 70-mile day. They're calling for rain late in the day, so I'm trying to get the miles in before it starts raining. Yesterday I went through Carbondale. Carbondale's the home of SIU, Southern Illinois University. It's a college town, so they got great pizza and 2 bike shops. I went through DuQuion. It's the home of the DuQuion State Fair. They also host the Street Machine Nationals every year. That is, if you're into really cool old cars. Illinois is pretty flat, so with this tailwind, the miles just kind of melt away. I'm heading north. See you down the road. All right, it's the end of day two, and I'm in Vandalia. I'm sitting here on the steps of the old State House. Vandalia used to be the capital of Illinois back in the early 1800s. Of course, the capital's down in Springfield. I found Abe Lincoln in the land of Lincoln. Back in the day, even Abe Lincoln did some lawyering here in Vandalia. All right, it is Tuesday, April the 26th, and this is day 3 going north through the land of Lincoln. Started in Vandalia last night, and I'm headed to Taylorville, which is just a little bit south of Springfield. It's gonna be about a 45 or 50 mile day. I'm riding into a steady headwind today. For the first 2 days, I had a nice tailwind, but then a weather system came through and changed that all around. I went from having a 25-mile-an-hour wind out of the south, and now I'm facing a 10-mile-an-hour wind out of the north. Dropped the temperature by 20 degrees also. Started off this morning at 8 o'clock at about 42 degrees, and today it was high about 55. But it's April, so what do you expect? That's why I brought some extra warm clothes on this trip. I'm heading north, so it's probably only gonna get colder. The wind's not really that bad, but here in Illinois, there's a lot of open fields, so there's fewer trees that knock down the wind. So when riding along with an open field on the left, there's nothing to block the wind, so you feel the full force. But I'm here on the Lincoln Prairie Trail. It's about a 15-mile trail that connects Pana to Taylorville. It's not very long, but it's a nice break to get off the road and out of traffic. So I'm just poking my way along in the land of Lincoln. I'll see you down the trail. It is Wednesday, April the 27th, and this is day 4 on my way north. Last night I stayed in Taylorville, and tonight I'm going to make it to Springfield. It's going to be a short day, only about 35 miles. Going to take a rest day in Springfield, but the wind changed around, which is kind of nice. Got a light breeze out of the south pushing me along. Right now I'm on the Lost Bridge Trail that goes from Rochester into Springfield. It's a short little rail trail, but at least it gets me off the road and out of traffic. This is Friday, it's April 29th, and this is day 5 going north in the land of Lincoln. Last night I stayed in Springfield. Today I'm heading for the Bloomington normal area. I got a pretty nice tailwind, and if that holds up and it doesn't rain, I'll make Bloomington tonight. It'll be about a 75-mile day or so. Yeah, I stayed in Springfield for an extra day. My wife is from Springfield, and my mother-in-law still lives there. So my wife met me in Springfield, and we spent the afternoon with Mom. My mother-in-law is not your typical mother-in-law. She's awesome. So happy Mother's Day, Linda, and happy birthday. But I stayed an extra day in Springfield, give my legs a rest. Now I got fresh legs, and I'm headed north toward Chicago on Old Route 66. Old Route 66 is a historic road that goes from Chicago all the way to LA. Right now it's not too exciting. I'm just following Interstate 55 along a frontage road. It's open prairie here in central Illinois, so there's nothing to block the wind. Fortunately, I've got a little bit of a tailwind today. I'm sitting here next to what they call a borrow pit. It's like a pond, but it's not a natural pond. When they built the interstate, they dug out these borrow pits to use the fill material for the overpasses and exit ramps. They dug down deep to get down into the rich clay, and now it's just a deep pond. The fish and the geese seem to like it though. Temperatures are going to stay pretty mild today. Highs are only going to be in the mid-60s, but it's supposed to stay cloudy with a chance of rain most of the day. I see little patches of blue and the sun's coming out, so I'm going to head down the road. See you down the way. It's Sunday morning, it's May the 1st, and this is day 6 on my way north to Chicago. It's still springtime here in central Illinois, so the weather's always kind of sketchy, and they were calling for severe thunderstorms and tornadoes, and there's really no place to hide. It's just open fields. So when they're calling for bad weather, I look for shelter. So I just hung out in a motel room in Bloomington normal for a day, letting the weather pass. Sat in my room, watched some movies on cable TV. I did my laundry, talked to my wife on the phone, and just generally chilled all day. But now I got fresh legs and I'm ready to roll. Wow, it's a windy day. Last night I stayed in Bloomington normal. That's the home of ISU, Illinois State University. Got an early start today, and I'm headed north toward Joliet. I got a nice tailwind behind me, so I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm not sure how far I'm going to go. I'm at least going to make it to Braidwood, and if I get there early enough, I'm just going to keep on going. But I'm following Old Route 66, so there's a lot of roadside. Whoa. Woo! Caught that one. Yeah, it's windy out. Almost lost the camera there. I'm following Old Route 66. It's really just a frontage road that follows Interstate 55, but there's a nice bike path, so I'm not complaining. Once you get out of Chicago, there's not much to Illinois except cornfields and bean fields. Central Illinois is part of the breadbasket of America, and the topsoil here is some of the richest in the world. So they do a lot of farming, a lot of corn and beans. And this time of year, there's nothing growing, so the fields are all bare. Even then, there's not much scenery to look at here in central Illinois, but I'm following old Route 66, so the coolest things along the way are the old roadside attractions. Along old Route 66, there's some old roadside attractions, old gas stations and diners and things like that. Relics from a past era on old Route 66. It's gonna be a cold, cloudy day again today. Highs in the mid-50s, but I got a nice tailwind, so I'm gonna take advantage of it. I'll see you down the road. Good morning. It is Monday, May the 2nd, and this is day 7 on my way north through the land of Lincoln. Last night I stayed in Braidwood. Tonight I'm headed for the Chicago suburbs. I'm not sure how far I'll get, but I'm on my way. I'm headed north and the wind's kind of coming out of the west. But right now I'm sitting on the Waubonsee Glacial Trail near the Medewin Tallgrass Prairie. The Medewin Tallgrass Prairie used to be part of the old Joliet Arsenal. It was a government-owned plot of land that was never developed. But here in the 21st century, it's one of the largest undisturbed tallgrass prairie plots in the Chicago area. And since it's government-owned anyway, they set it aside as a nature preserve. I'm going to keep making my way north on this bike trail all the way up through Joliet. Then I'm going to find the I&M Canal bike path and continue north into the suburbs. It's when the traffic's going to get heavy and a little bit dicey. But most of the way along old Route 66, it's just been an old 2-lane road with almost no shoulder. Every once in a while there's bike path, but really there's not much to ride on. Went by the Gemini Man this morning in Wilmington, Illinois. Another one of those old giant fiberglass dudes along old Route 66. Last night I ate at the Polka Dot. It's an old Route 66 roadhouse diner. Reminds me of what McDonald's used to be before it turned into Disneyland. It's a good old burger joint with fries and a milkshake. But you never know who you'll run into. Elvis, the Blues Brothers, Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, who knows, even Betty Boop. Among other things, Illinois is also the land of many railroad crossings. Well, here I am in the northwest suburbs of Chicago where I grew up, not far from the Arlington Park racetrack. I'm staying at my friend Ricky's house. He's kind enough to put me up. So I started in Braidwood and rode all the way here, about 75 miles. Rode pretty hard to get here to outrun a rainstorm. Rode through the congested southern and southwest suburbs. I picked some pretty good roads that had sidewalks along them, so I could ride on the sidewalk and out of traffic. The sidewalk's a little bit bumpy, but I'd rather take a few bumps from the sidewalk than from cars and trucks. This trip should end on the shores of Lake Michigan, right in downtown Chicago at Buckingham Fountain. Unfortunately, Buckingham Fountain's not running today, so I guess I'll have to leave it here in downtown Chicago. This journey continues north into Wisconsin, America's Dairyland, so stay tuned for more adventure to come. Till then, thanks for watching. Now go ride your bike.